My beloved child, if you're listening to me today, it's not by coincidence. It's because your mind is standing at the threshold between awakening and collapse. I see you. I see the exhaustion in your eyes, the chaos in your thoughts, the clashing voices pulling you back into the past, drowning you in guilt, doubt, and hopelessness. That is not the mind I gave you. That is an invisible battlefield. And if you don't stop in time, it will pull you away from the good purpose I have already prepared for you. You need to cleanse your mind before it's too late. Not because I want to scare you, but because I want to save you. Today, your mind is the doorway to life or the entrance to destruction. If you don't clear out the false sounds, the old accusations, the unhealed memories, then the enemy will use them to lock your soul in chains. So let me lead you on this journey, a journey of cleansing, reordering, restoring not just your mind, but your true self. You've waited too long. Don't hesitate anymore. Today is the moment. This is the wake-up call. My beloved child, I see you. I see more clearly than what you show on the outside. I don't just see the smiling face you try to maintain in front of others. I see through the swirling thoughts behind your eyes. The thoughts you haven't told anyone. The questions you haven't found answers to. The restless nights that even a soft pillow can't soothe. I hear the cries of your heart. I hear every sigh you don't dare release in the dark. You wonder why the negative thoughts keep cycling. Why, after so many prayers, after all the fasting, after reading my word, you still feel like your mind is an endless battlefield. I know very well. And today, I'm not coming to accuse you. I'm coming to tell you a truth. And if you receive it, it will mark the turning point of your soul. My child, your mind is not broken. You are not wrong the way you think. You are not abnormal, not useless, not far from me. Your mind is simply thirsty. Yes, it is thirsty. Not for water from the deep wells of this world. Not for fleeting words of encouragement. Not for psychological positivity. It is thirsty for my true presence, and only I can quench that thirst. There is a kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from the body but from thought loops that replay like a song stuck on a single note. Memories of what you've lost, fears of what's coming, imaginations of what may never come. You've tried to push them all away by staying busier, focusing harder, avoiding more, but you know deep inside you can't keep running forever. My child, sit with me. Let me hold you like a father holding his little one after a nightmare. You don't have to act strong with me. You can be weak, you can be confused, you can be full of doubt, and that's okay, because I did not come to demand answers from you. I came to give you something: rest. I'm not promising to immediately clear away every circumstance that troubles you, but I promise you this: when I dwell in your mind, even in the middle of the storm, you will find rest. Just as I rested in the boat when the waves crashed, just as I remained silent among the crowds that threatened to stone me, just as I stood calmly before the courts of men, not because I didn't feel fear, but because I knew my Father held all authority. And you too can have that peace, not by mastering life, but by letting me master your mind. You don't need to force yourself to think positive. You just need to drink from my living source, my word. Let my word become the cool water that seeps into the wounds of your soul that have long gone unhealed. Let my truth replace the lies the enemy has sown in you. Lies that say you're not good enough, that you'll never change, that you're abandoned, that you deserved the pain. Those words did not come from me. They came from darkness, and darkness cannot stand before the light. I know you're tired of trying to fight those thoughts on your own, but you were never meant to fight alone. Have you ever tried stopping the fight and just handing those thoughts to me? Have you ever asked, Lord, does this thought come from you? If not, then you can lay it down, gently. No force, no inner struggle, just replace it. My child, your mind is like a garden. If you don't plant my word there each day, weeds will grow quickly. Worries, doubts, unhealed memories, they will take over. But when you sow my word, when you allow my presence to water every corner of your thoughts, that garden will begin to bloom. Not in a day, but little by little. With each breath, each prayer, each time you choose to return to me instead of returning to worry. My little one, do you remember the man possessed by demons in the region of Gerasenes? The one the entire town feared, who lived among the tombs, hurting himself, screaming in the night, and no one dared come close? After meeting me, Scripture says, he was sitting there, clothed and in his right mind. That is exactly what I want to do with your mind. To turn madness into clarity, panic into calm, chaos into order. And there is no one, no wound too far from my reach. You don't need to be good enough for me to heal you. You only need to be thirsty. For the Scriptures say, whoever is thirsty, let him come to me and drink. Not those who are perfect or religious or righteous, but those who are thirsty. And you are thirsty. That's why you're still listening, because your soul deep within recognizes the call of its Creator. You may not fully understand it. You may still be unsure. But you're still here. And that's a sign that I am already working in you. So don't worry if you don't have a perfect prayer. Just be honest. Say to me, Lord, I don't know where to begin, but I want peace. I want to be healed. That is all I need to begin the journey with you. From here, I won't lead you with demands. I will lead you with kindness. I will not shout into your fear. I will whisper truth into it. I won't make you prove anything. I will simply love you until that love becomes the foundation of your mind. So now, let your heart be still. Stop trying to control everything. Let me take the throne in your thoughts. Let my presence be like a gentle stream flowing through the dry places inside you. I haven't come to patch things up temporarily. I've come to recreate. Not to first change your circumstances, but to change you from the inside out. And my child, when your mind is renewed, everything else will follow. The way you see yourself, the way you react to others, the way you face challenges, it will all transform. Not because you tried harder, but because you drank from the source of life. I am here. I'm not leaving. I am knocking at the door of your mind every day. And today, if you hear my voice, don't shut it out. Open the door, let me come in and clear out everything that didn't come from me. You don't need to understand it all. You just need to be willing. I'll take care of the rest. Because I don't just want you to survive the day, I want you to live free. And freedom begins when your mind finds rest in my arms. Are you ready? I'm still here, waiting, and you won't need to thirst anymore. My beloved child, let me say this to you, slowly and clearly, so you never forget. You are not meant to fix your mind. Listen carefully. That is not your mission. You are not the mechanic of the broken pieces in your thoughts. You are not the one scrambling to tape back together the tangled ideas or to force every emotion back into line. You weren't created to bend and twist each thought like a technician. You were made to rise up, take hold of the authority I have given you, and command your mind to walk in truth. Yes, you are not the victim of your mind. You are its ruler. And the very first thing I want you to learn is this. Your mind has no right to rule over you unless you give it permission. Your mind is powerful, persuasive, even passionate. It will whisper in your ear every day, I'm anxious, I'm not good enough, I'm going to fail, no one understands me. But my child, hear me. Just because your mind says something doesn't make it true. The mind is a good servant, but a terrible master. It's supposed to be a place where you process information, not where you search for truth. Truth doesn't come from emotion. Truth doesn't come from painful memories. Truth doesn't come from what others have said about you. Truth only comes from me and from my word. So when your mind starts running with those voices, don't run with it. Stand still. Speak up. Speak louder than it. Train your mind to know that you do not bow to it. You lead it. In my name. Remember when I was tempted in the wilderness? The enemy didn't strike me with swords. He didn't whip me. He used thoughts. He planted ideas. If you're truly the Son of God, then do this. Prove that. Do you see? The first battle wasn't with hands or weapons. It was in the mind. But I didn't argue. I didn't try to think correctly. I spoke the truth. It is written. And that truth, when spoken with authority, drove out the darkness. My child, I want you to do the same. When a negative thought creeps into your mind, don't sit there and quietly follow it. Stand up and declare, it is written. When your mind says, I'm not worthy, declare, it is written. I have been forgiven and made righteous by the blood of Christ. When your mind says, things are only getting worse, proclaim, it is written, God works all things together for the good of those who love him. You are not here to fix your mind. You are here to lead it. Command it to return to the truth. Because every time you stay silent, your mind will speak for you, and it will lead you right back to the old places: worry, shame, confusion, and doubt. But if you open your mouth, if you speak with my word, then you will lead your mind back to where I am, to peace, to light, to hope that never dies. Oh, my child, you are not as weak as you think. You have simply forgotten who lives in you. I do not dwell in you just to watch you struggle. I dwell in you to reign with you. And for this reason, I have given you authority. Not worldly authority, not titles, not credentials, but divine authority to command your soul to rise and walk in alignment with heaven's will. Do you remember the story of David, when he returned to camp and found everything destroyed, his family taken, and his own men ready to stone him? Surely his mind was screaming with pain, despair, and guilt. But Scripture says, David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. He didn't wait for someone else to comfort him. He didn't wait for the situation to change. He stood up and told himself, God is still faithful. And what happened next? He inquired of the Lord, pursued the enemy, and recovered everything. But it started with one decision: to command his soul to return to the Lord. You can do that too. Even if no one understands you, even if your head is full of voices that numb you, even when you feel like you've run out of strength, open your mouth, read my word aloud, declare the truth, and your mind will begin to listen. At first it may resist, but the more it listens, the more it will yield to the light. Child, build this habit into your life. Every morning, before you do anything else, say to your mind, today you will not lead me. I am led by the Holy Spirit. I am a child of God. I have the mind of Christ. Train your mind to hear my voice more than the world's. Place yourself in environments where truth echoes: small groups, sermons, worship songs, quiet moments, sitting in my presence. And don't be afraid when bad thoughts show up. They are not your identity. They are strangers. The enemy plants them to see if you'll accept them. But if you recognize them as lies, you've already won half the battle. Don't feel ashamed for being tempted. Feel victorious that you're strong enough to resist. Don't feel guilty about sudden emotions. Remind your mind that feelings are not facts, and only truth has the right to decide your direction. You know, even the apostles had moments of mental distress, but the difference was this: they always returned to me. And so will you. When you get lost in your thoughts, pause and say, Lord, I give this mind back to you. Teach me to think like you. That is a prayer I always hear. And I won't teach you just once. I'll teach you every day. Patiently, gently, like a father teaching his child to speak. From today on, change the way you treat your mind. Don't hate it, don't avoid it, guide it, lead it. Not by your own strength, but by my life flowing through you. For I have not called you to be a lost sheep forever. I have called you to become a shepherd over your own inner world, to lead your soul into green pastures beside quiet waters to where eternal life flows. And my child, I will walk with you every step of the way. My beloved child, perhaps you've grown used to hiding tears behind polite smiles, hiding fear in rehearsed answers, hiding exhaustion behind those nods that say, I'm okay. But I see it all. I don't just see the surface you show, I see the cracks you've never dared to name. And do you know something? The very places you've hidden most carefully, those are the places I want to enter first. I am not afraid of the darkness inside you. I'm not intimidated by the wounds that haven't healed, the disappointments you've long suppressed. I don't walk around the pain, I walk straight into it. Not to judge, but to touch. Not to ask, why are you so weak, but to say, I know you're tired. Let me carry what's too heavy for you. My child, maybe even you don't remember exactly when the hurt began. A careless word spoken over you in childhood. A betrayal you never imagined would come from someone you trusted. A loss so sudden your mind locked up like a room with a bolted door. And even if the memory fades, that wound still quietly influences every thought, every reaction today. It still whispers as if it were a part of you. But child, pain is not your identity. It's something that happened to you, not something that defines who you are. I know you've tried to be strong. I know you've tried to move on. But what I long for is not that you dust yourself off and walk like you've never been hurt. What I desire is to return with you to that very place where the wound first began, because the place you avoid is the place I want to heal. Do you remember the woman at the well? She came in the heat of noon, when no one else would be there because she was ashamed. Her life was a trail of heartbreak. 5 men, 5 deep cuts, and a reputation bleeding under the weight of whispers. But I didn't avoid her gaze. I didn't walk past her. I waited for her at the well. Not to shame her, but to say I know. And right at the place of her deepest pain, her shame, her loneliness, her search for love in all the wrong places, I touched first, not with commands, but with presence and kindness. And in the same way, I'm waiting for you at the well where you've hidden your heart. Maybe it's a room of memories you locked long ago. Maybe it's an event you've never dared to speak of. Maybe it's a sin that makes you feel unworthy to even pray. But my child, it's in that very place. I've already arrived before you even got there. I don't enter to replay your mistakes. I enter to restore life. No one can go as deep as I can. No one can reach the most damaged part of the soul without causing more harm except me. Because my hands never force. I heal with truth wrapped in love. Truth not to shame you, but to set you free. You were abandoned. I acknowledge that. You weren't chosen. I don't deny that. But then I will whisper, you are chosen by me. You are mine. You are no longer left behind. Think of Thomas. He was the doubter, the one who didn't believe I had risen. But I didn't rebuke him. I didn't push him aside for lacking faith. I appeared, and the first thing I did was offer my hands for him to touch my wounds, because I knew it would be my wounds that would heal his. I am not only the resurrected one, I am the one who still bears the scars, so that the wounded can find themselves in me. My child, if you are carrying a silent wound in your mind, don't hide it from me. I don't need perfect words. I need honesty. If you can't speak it, then cry. If you can't pray long, then whisper, Lord, I'm hurting. I don't need a ritual. I need a real heart. Because when your heart is real, my power is fully released. No one pretends their way to healing. But the one who dares to be honest, the one who opens the wound for me to see, will be washed clean. Just like David prayed, search me, O God, see if there is any wicked way in me. Do you know why he dared pray that? Because he trusted that I don't come to condemn, but to heal at the root. Maybe you've learned how to avoid, learned how to fake being okay, learned how to work hard to forget the pain. But today I want to teach you something new. Be brave enough to face the place of pain with me. Not alone, not anymore. For I am the one who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, not with medicine, but with my presence. Did you know when your mind is tired from fighting old memories, what you need is not forgetting, but redemption? I don't forget what happened to you. I turn it into testimony. Your wounds will no longer be evidence of failure, but the very foundation of a new life. Some say, time heals all wounds. But I tell you the truth, only I can heal. Time may fade memories, but only grace can soothe the heart. And that grace is here, in this very moment you're reading these words. I'm pulling you closer, not to dig up pain, but to wrap you in my presence, where guilt ends, where shame fades, where fear dissolves. And one thing remains, you are loved. My beloved child, don't believe that your wounds are barriers to my plans. Those very places will become the starting point. Like a field burned bare, but now richer soil for a new season of growth. I don't need you to be perfect to use you. I only need you to be honest and willing. If today you're willing to open your heart, I will touch it. Not by force, but when you invite me in, I will never leave empty-handed. I will bring healing. I will bring freedom. I will bring renewal. And little by little, your mind will feel lighter, your sleep deeper, your eyes brighter. Not because everything out there has changed, but because something inside has been touched. Don't be afraid of the healing journey. Don't be afraid of tears. For tears are the sign your heart is no longer hardened. It means you've allowed me to touch the deepest part, the place where you need me most. And it is right there that you will begin again, this time no longer in pain and alone, this time with me. My beloved child, by now, you may already know clearly that your mind is not broken, it's just thirsty. And I've also shown you that the place where you are most wounded is the very place I want to touch first. But today, I want to take you even deeper, because there's a truth you need to know, and you need to believe it with your whole soul. The place where you are weakest will become the place where I reveal my greatest strength. I'm not waiting for you to be perfect before I use you. On the contrary, it is precisely when you admit that you can't do it on your own that my grace begins to work. As Paul wrote, "My power is made perfect in weakness." It's not your strength, but your surrender that opens the door for me to move. Still doubting? Then take a look at the people I've chosen. Moses, the stutterer, the murderer, the one who ran away. And yet, I chose him to speak on behalf of an entire nation. I placed in his hands a staff, seemingly ordinary, but it would part seas, bring forth water, and topple an empire. Not because he was strong, but because he surrendered. Or Gideon. When I called him, he was hiding in a winepress, afraid, threshing wheat in the dark. He said he was the weakest in the weakest clan. But I didn't see a coward. I saw a warrior. I didn't call him based on the weakness he saw in himself. I called him based on the potential I had planted in his soul. And he, the one who once trembled, went on to lead a small army that defeated an enemy 10 times their size. Do you see it now? I don't choose the strong. I make the chosen strong. My power doesn't show up to help you perform. It shows up so the world may see that I can take broken pieces and craft something miraculous. My child, there are things you think of as limitations. Your past, your failures, your anxiety, your fear of rejection, your helplessness in family struggles, in work, in faith. You call those weaknesses. I call them starting points. I once told you, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." That poverty doesn't mean lacking money. It means poverty of self, so I can reign. And when you stop trying to prove anything, when you stop forcing yourself to appear strong, you'll see that what I've prepared for you was never dependent on your ability. It was always about whether you were willing to let me be enough for you. My beloved, imagine your mind like an abandoned field. Others look at it and see weeds, wilderness, but I see a land about to bloom. I see life waiting on a rain from heaven, and that rain is my word, my breath, my gaze, poured out when you let me enter that place. I haven't come to plant flowers in someone else's soil. I want to begin with you, from the place where your thoughts once crumbled, from the heart that once beat in fear, from the soul that once doubted its own worth. Because when a life is transformed from the roots, the world will know it wasn't your doing, but the work of the living God. You won't just be healed, you will become a healer. You won't just be forgiven, you will become a voice of mercy in a merciless world. You won't just rise up, you'll stretch out your hand to those who have fallen, and you'll say, "I've been where you are. And in the very place where I was weak, God rebuilt me." You know, I once told Peter, "When you have returned, strengthen your brothers." And today I say the same to you. I am restoring you, not just so you can live in peace, but so you can be a lamp to those walking through the same darkness. Don't be afraid of the past. Don't be ashamed of the wounds. Don't hide where you once failed, because that exact thing, when placed in my hands, becomes a living testimony. You will no longer fear being known, because that truth, the full truth, is what sets you free. And you will walk with a clear mind, a steadfast heart, and a soul that no longer runs away. My child, what I desire today is for you to believe again, not in yourself, but in my power within you. Not to try harder, not to do something grand, but to surrender, to open your hands, to stop trying to save yourself. To say, "Lord, I've gone far enough. Now I let you in, and I will come in, like morning light driving out the night. I will rebuild what you thought was lost forever. I will restore what you thought was too broken. I will hold up what you believed you could no longer carry. I will do a new thing, not just for you, but through you." Remember this, my child. No one is too wounded to be healed. No one is too weak to be used. No one is too late to begin again. When you let me be Lord over the weakest part of your life, that is where the power of heaven begins to break open within you. My beloved child, after everything you've heard, I'm not asking you to understand it all, but I am inviting you to surrender. Surrender the struggle of trying to carry it all alone. Surrender the need to control everything happening in your mind. Surrender the old accusations the enemy planted in you, from childhood, from pain, from others' words, even from your own disappointments. Because a mind that is not cleansed becomes a dwelling place for chaos. But a mind that has been touched by me becomes a resting place for peace. You need to clear your mind, right now, before my voice gets buried beneath the noise, before the door of vision closes, before one more wrong decision pulls you even further from your true calling. You don't have to do it alone. I am here. I am ready to wash it clean. I've already begun. And if you allow me, I will finish what I started. Let go. Open your heart. Don't wait until the moment you can no longer hear me. Because today I'm still whispering, let me clear your mind before it's too late.